Hello again, Book 2. This is just a quick video I wanted to make to tell you about some books that I am getting ready to read for some BookTube events. So one of them is March of the Mammoths, and the other is March Mystery Madness. And March of the Mammoths is an event, I'm sure you've heard about it, where it's dedicated to taking those giant door stopper books on your shelves, taking them off the shelf and giving them some attention. In the age of diminishing attention spans, it is uh, it's very easy to look at a big 800, 900 page book and think to yourself, not today, not this time. I want to read something quicker. But this event was created to pretty much almost bully you into reading books that are at least 800 pages or more. And so the book that I chose for this is a big epic Russian novel. Some of my favorite books to read are those big epic Russian novels like War and Peace or Brothers Karamazov, books like that. And this one I had never heard of and until I think it was Steve Donahue mentioned it just randomly in a Daily Penguin video, and I had never heard of it. It uh, completely lost on me, and so I wanted to try to find a copy of it. And for whatever reason, this book is impossible to find unabridged, and even the unabridged copies of it are censored in a way. It was written really right at the height of the Red Scare of the Soviet Union, and this is Quiet Flows the Dawn by Mikhail Sholokhov. This is a copy that I got from, it's an interlibrary loan, so copy from a library. That's why there's no dust jacket on it or anything. But this is a story, a big 1,300 page novel about the Don Cossacks, which is a group of sort of independent people in Russia that lived along the Don River, which is something like 1,100 miles long. It is I think the fifth largest river in Europe, and this whole novel is about a particular family of the Don Cossacks living through the Russian Civil War, and it is a big sweeping uh, family narrative that these big epic Russian writers are known for. And so, and this particular edition is from Carroll and Graf. I don't know if you can see there. And this particular edition came out in 1996, and it was translated from the Russian by Robert Daglish, and edited by, I think, Brian Murphy. And this particular edition is impossible to find. I found this on randomly through an interlibrary loan, so use your libraries. But to try to find a used copy of this online is next to impossible, and to find one in good condition is something like $400 or $500. I don't know why it's that much, but it is. And so, but I found this sadly without the dust jacket. I really like the dust jacket on it. If you look up this particular edition, it has a cool illustration on the front of the front cover. So this will be what I read for March of the Mammoths. I think it's something like 1,300 pages. It's longer than War and Peace, so this will take me some time. And also, it's very heavy. So you could, if you hit someone with this, you could kill them with it. So that is for March of the Mammoths. And for March Mystery Madness, this is a reread for me, but it's been, I think, 3 years since I've read this, and I remember really loving it. It became one of my favorite, probably my favorite mystery novel, and one of my favorite novels in general. And it is Mystic River by Dennis Lehane. You may have seen the movie that came out in the early 2000s, directed by Clint Eastwood, and it has just an all-star cast. It's a really good movie, really good adaptation of this book. And I think Sean Penn won an Oscar for this, and somebody else. I think there was another Oscar won for it. But this is a mystery novel set in Boston about three friends who They all have a shared sort of traumatic past, and then one of them, Jimmy, his daughter ends up being murdered, and the other friend, he happens to be the detective assigned to the case, and the third friend, on the night of the murder, he with comes home covered in blood. So it is a really just a really great story. Dennis Lehane, he wrote Shutter Island, which is of course really good and has another really great movie adaptation to it. Uh, and he recently retired. I think he retired a few years ago after Small Mercies came out, which is another really good novel. It's not really a mystery novel, but it's definitely worth your time to read. And it's kind of funny because when I read this for the first time, like I said, about 3 years ago, my first year of undergrad, I absolutely loved it. It became one of my favorite books. And then time went on and I really just forgot about it. And I was kind of funny. I was reading the dust jacket, reading the synopsis of this, and I remember next to nothing about it at all. And so I will be really excited to get into this. As I was reading the synopsis of it, it almost made me want to jump into reading this first before I read Quiet Flows the Dawn, but I need to read Quiet Flows the Dawn first because it's on a library loan, so I only have a few weeks to read it, so I need to try to blast through it. Uh, but after that, I will be reading this for March Mystery Madness. So, but that's pretty much it. I just wanted to make this quick, tell you about some books that I'm going to read for some booktube events that are going on in the month of March. So, uh, see you next time.